Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a new episode of the Metal Meltdown. And before we get started, I want to remind you all quickly that I will be hosting a live Halloween party and Doom Eternal drinking game tonight on the Metal Meltdown at approximately 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you like blood, guts, metal, and excessive drinking, and you're looking for something to do tonight, pop on by, say hello, or better yet, join the motherfucking party all together. Hope to see you there tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, without further ado, the regular review as planned. Contrary to what the average neck-bearded man-baby metal elitist would like us to think, Bring Me the Horizon is one of the most unique and influential rock bands of the modern era. They have consistently been trendsetters and poster boys of mainstream heavy and alternative music for just about 15 years now, with an extremely diverse discography that has pulled open influence from metalcore, deathcore, post-hardcore, pop music, alternative rock, arena rock, electronic and industrial dance music. Their last EP, Music to Listen To, even saw the band embracing a very unorthodox and unusual blend of experimental hip-hop, electronic, and ambient influences. And believe it or not, our good friend Sexy Luca has even argued with me in private that their 2013 album Sempiternal has a little bit of a prog rock, prog metal flair and spice to it. Now, I would personally disagree heavily with a statement like that. However, I don't think it's unfair to say that if we are even having a conversation like that, then Bring Me the Horizon are clearly not the one-dimensional generic poser metal band that so many have pinned them as. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, despite all of that knowledge, I don't feel particularly comfortable calling Amo or Music to Listen To the band's most ambitious works to date, because that simply isn't true anymore thanks to this new EP. An EP that A, showcases a smorgasbordian sound liberally pulling from across the band's discography, that B, showcases a massive roster of additional talent, including contributions from Youngblood, Baby Metal, Amy Lee of Evanescence, composer and producer Mick Gordon, best known previously for his work on Doom and Wolfenstein 2, and C, because, as far as I can tell, post-human survival horror appears to be the first entry in a multi-part series that the band has written and recorded entirely during the COVID-19 pandemic. A factoid that, may I add, literally influences the lyrics and songwriting on this particular EP. Take, for instance, on the track Parasite Eve, where Oliver Sykes writes, "I've got a fever, don't breathe on me. I'm a believer of nobody. Won't let me leave 'cause I've seen something, hope I don't sneeze." Going on to write, "When we forget the infection, will we remember the lesson? If the suspense doesn't kill you, something else will." A lyric that, may I add, is made all the more striking when you take a look at what is happening in the United States right now. Like, y'all literally just decided, fuck it, COVID-19 doesn't exist anymore. Why? Because we're fucking bored, that's why. On a similar note, the track Obey does a pretty good job at tapping into the mental anguish of living in quarantine, while criticizing leaders who have either been ineffective in dealing with COVID-19 or who have outright decided to ignore the virus altogether because that's too inconvenient for them. As the band and Youngblood write here, "You don't want us to come out and play, there's nothing to see here, it's under control. We're only gambling with your soul. Whatever you do, just don't wake up and smell the corruption." Coincidentally, these two tracks rank among some of the catchiest cuts on the entire record. Alongside another track like Teardrops, I'm even reminded of some of the best material from Hybrid Theory-era Linkin Park, albeit with a much more bitter, modern bite and angst. Particularly on Parasite Eve, which has one of the most satisfying breakdowns I've heard in recent memory. Which is actually a great segue into talking about my favorite aspect of this record, producer and composer Mick Gordon. This man has very clearly lit a very hot fire under the collective asses of Bring Me the Horizon, because this EP packs some of the band's heaviest riffs sonically and emotionally in a long fucking time. And if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, then look no further than the EP's opening track, Dear Diary, an absolutely searing industrial hardcore rager with evil and chaos emanating out of every fucking pore. Like, this track alone is like the super fucking edgy love child of Code Orange and fucking Slayer. And the cool thing is that Gordon isn't the only one constantly pushing Bring Me the Horizon into previously uncharted sonic territory on this EP. Take, for instance, the track Kingslayer featuring Baby Metal, a track so utterly chaotic and noisy that it almost feels like the intro to some kind of long-lost cyberpunk-themed anime. Or for that matter, closing track One Day the Only Butterflies Left will be in your chest as you march towards your death, featuring Amy Lee of Evanescence, who pushes Oliver Sykes vocally to his limit, bringing out not only one of her best vocal performances in a long time, but one of his best vocal performances in a long time. And even more surprisingly, they actually have really great chemistry together. I kind of want to hear these two making more music together. Now, not every song on here is a banger. In fact, a couple just didn't leave much of an impact on me at all. I found 1x1 to be kind of one note, despite some strong performances from Nova Twins, and Ludens especially just felt really boring and flaccid to me. It kind of feels like an unnecessary, glitchy, metallic remix of like a really piss-poor Imagine Dragons song. But I can still kind of appreciate these songs just because they're showing Bring Me the Horizon, again, still going into new territory, and these two tracks alone don't do enough to derail the entire EP for me, which is far more important in the long run. I'd give this thing a 3.5 out of 5. This is a highly entertaining and engaging EP from start to finish, with fantastic production value, some really great fucking performances, particularly from Oliver Sykes. This is vocally and lyrically one of his best performances with Bring Me the Horizon to date. He appears sharp, attentive, intelligent, emotive, and I'm pretty excited to see how this multi-part EP series is going to play out. Like, what is this whole thing going to look like when we have all the pieces of the puzzle? So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. I'm not really sure how the Bring Me the Horizon fanboys is going to feel about this, because from what I understand, they can be a little bit feisty, but I personally enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing what the band has up their sleeve next. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately, and you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.